Can a dress change a woman's life? Yes, and it already has. In the 1950s, Marilyn Monroe wore a white dress so iconic that, decades later, it remains one of the most memorable images in cinema history. Rihanna turned an extravagant Met Gala look into a historic fashion moment. Princess Diana proved that the right dress could be an act of power and independence. And all of this happened for one reason. The right dress is not just fabric and stitching. It communicates, empowers, and liberates. How many times have you put on an outfit and felt that something was off? The fit wasn't right. It didn't express what you wanted. Or it simply didn't make you feel like yourself. That happens because some pieces are fleeting trends that fade away, but others are timeless because they serve a greater purpose. There is one dress that changed the history of women's fashion while giving women both freedom and elegance. It has been worn by princesses, businesswomen, actresses, and everyday women who understood its true power. And the best part? It hasn't been left in the past. It remains a secret weapon of the world's best-dressed women. If you want to be more elegant and, at the same time, feel freer, keep reading. And before anything else, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a like, because here, I teach you how to turn elegance into something profitable. And for those who love to travel and want to do it with sophistication, my ebook, Be Elegant. When traveling, global etiquette for the sophisticated traveler is pinned in the first comment. What was the last dress that made you feel powerful? Before the chemise, women's fashion was a prison disguised as elegance. Women's fashion was once a true test of endurance. In the 19th century, a dress wasn't just a dress. It was armor, and not in a metaphorical sense. Layers of petticoats, corsets that cinched the waist to impossible measurements, metal structures that made skirts expand like domes. The look might have been dazzling, but the price was high. Frequent fainting, difficulty breathing, and even displaced ribs. Yes, women literally moved their bones in the name of aesthetics. But this rigidity had a purpose. The harder it was to wear, the more feminine it was considered. Because femininity at that time was associated with fragility, extreme delicacy, and minimal mobility. Walking fast? Difficult. Climbing stairs without help? Complicated. Taking a deep breath? A luxury. And this is where the chemise became a game changer. It didn't emerge as a loud rebellion, but as a whisper of freedom. Unlike structured dresses that imposed a shape on the body, the chemise adapted to the real shape of a woman's body. No exaggerated frames, no impossible fastenings. It was a dress that respected the person wearing it. The arrival of the chemise was not just an aesthetic shift. It was a small gesture, carrying a big message. For the first time, clothing was not there to control a woman, but to move with her. From undergarment to queen's dress, the chemise revolution. The chemise began its journey behind the scenes of fashion. No spotlight, no glamour. It was a simple, oversized shirt worn under clothing, the historical equivalent of functional lingerie. But then came Marie Antoinette, a woman who, despite being surrounded by diamonds and gowns that required an entire team to put on, just wanted to breathe in peace. When she stepped away from the rigid etiquette of Versailles to retreat to Petit Trianon, her goal was simple: fewer rules, more freedom. But in a court where even the way one sat had a protocol, abandoning structured corsets and layers of heavy brocade was practically an act of rebellion, and that's exactly what she did. Inspired by the lightness of children's clothing and the fluidity of cotton fabrics, Marie Antoinette began wearing a refined version of the chemise as her main attire. A lightweight dress with just the right amount of volume, free from the metal structures that shaped the body. It wasn't tight, it didn't require excessive maintenance, and, to the utter shock of the court, it could even be easily washed, an unheard-of concept for luxury garments at the time. But then came the problem. The chemise didn't look like a real dress. It lacked extravagant embroidery, dramatic silhouettes, or yards of brocaded silk. It was far too simple for a queen. Remember when Princess Diana wore black to a gala, and high society turned up its nose because black was for mourning, not for celebrations? With Marie Antoinette, the backlash was even worse. When she posed for a portrait in a white chemise, the elite lost their minds. The dress looked like underwear. How could a queen dress like that? It was an outrage against tradition, against pomp, and, according to some, even against morality. The critics were ruthless. They claimed the queen was poorly dressed, that her choice of attire was a disgrace to good taste. Some even insinuated that this fashion decision reflected her supposed irresponsibility as a monarch. But plot twist, comfort won. Women began to realize that they could be elegant without suffocating inside metal structures, that they could walk, breathe, and live without needing a team of 5 just to get dressed. And as with any trend that starts as a scandal, the chemise became a sensation. What was once reserved for intimate settings moved to the salons, then to daytime outings, and eventually to the streets. Women's fashion was never the same again. The chemise paved the way for clothing that prioritized a woman's body, not just the aesthetics imposed by society. In the end, the dress that started as a hidden garment became a symbol of freedom, and it still is today. The scandal that became a revolution. Today, a dress might be considered daring for its plunging neckline or a high slit. But in the 18th century, the real scandal was looking too simple. And that's exactly what happened with the chemise. When Marie Antoinette appeared in an official portrait wearing the dress, the Versailles elite was horrified. To them, this wasn't just about fashion. It was a direct attack on the status quo. The dress resembled a nightgown, something that should never leave the bedroom. How could a queen present herself to the world in such a casual way? The backlash was immediate and merciless. The press of the time portrayed Marie Antoinette as an irresponsible, frivolous woman, oblivious to the weight of her position. One particularly cruel pamphlet claimed the queen was trying to turn the court into a dairymaid's barn, as if dressing more simply was equivalent to renouncing royalty altogether. It was as if, overnight, she had traded her crown for a job selling cheese at the market. So, was the chemise doomed to fail? Wrong. While nobles sneered, ordinary women paid attention. The dress was comfortable, practical, and, ironically, had an air of refinement precisely because it was different from anything worn at court. It evoked that pastoral ideal that was trendy in 18th century art and literature, a life that was more natural, freer, almost utopian. And so, the scandal turned into a trend. The ladies of high society slowly began to embrace the chemise, first for leisure, then as part of their daily wardrobes. What started as a controversy became an essential piece of women's fashion. The fashion world is full of stories like this. Pieces that were mocked at first, but later became indispensable. The bikini was considered immoral when it debuted in 1946. Chanel was criticized for freeing women from corsets in the early 20th century. And today, these changes are so ingrained that no one even questions them anymore. The chemise followed the same path. What began as a scandal became a silent revolution and marked the beginning of a new era for women's fashion. From chemise to the modern wardrobe, elegance that stood the test of time. Fashion evolves, reinvents itself, and challenges norms. But some pieces are so timeless that, even centuries later, they continue to define good taste. The chemise is one of them. What once caused an uproar in Marie Antoinette's court is now a staple in the wardrobe of every elegant woman. The only difference? Today, it goes by different names. Shirt dress, fluid tunic, minimalist silhouette. Next time you slip into a modern chemise, remember that it carries a legacy of boldness and transformation. That oversized white shirt you belt at the waist? Its DNA traces back to the 18th century. The fluid silhouette that balances comfort and sophistication? A direct evolution of the dress once deemed indecent by Versailles nobility. But here's the question. How do you wear this piece today without looking too simple or unpolished? Easy. The key lies in accessories and styling. A structured handbag and elegant shoes instantly refine the look. A belt at the waist creates shape without sacrificing comfort. High-quality fabrics elevate the outfit effortlessly. So, if you want practicality without compromising on class, the chemise is a foolproof choice. It has proven its staying power through centuries. And in your wardrobe, it can do the same. What does this story teach us? That fashion can be a prison or a liberation, and you are the one who decides. The chemise started as a scandal, yet became a symbol of refinement and practicality. It proved that true elegance doesn't suffocate, it empowers. But is there a dress even more powerful? One that redefined fashion history and that every woman who wants to dress well needs to know about? Because one thing is certain, some pieces go beyond style. They project power. If you want to discover the most powerful dress in history, you can't miss the next video, The Most Powerful Dress in History. Why every woman needs one. What's the dress that made you feel most elegant and free? Tell me in the comments. Type freedom and elegance in a dress if you loved this video. And of course, if you want to be more successful and learn how to be a truly elegant woman, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and hit the like button, because elegance is profitable. Check the first pinned comment for links to elegant products I use and recommend. Take a look after watching.